Welcome to QSR Nation, your weekly dose of food service marketing tips and business strategies for success. Here's your hosts, Josh Anderson, Beth Oots, and Anthony Pierce from the PFSbrands National Headquarters.
Hey everybody, welcome back to QSR Nation. As always, we have Josh, Beth, and Tony from the PFSbrands National Headquarters in Holt Summit, Missouri to talk about food service marketing and business strategies for success. Today, it's our honor to have the VP of Project Management at PFSbrands, Jim Spratt. Jim, welcome to QSR Nation.
Thank you.
You want to tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to PFSbrands?
Sure. I have a degree in engineering and have always worked in the engineering field, primarily in material handling, so large-scale projects involving conveyor, pallet rack, et cetera, very heavy emphasis in construction, building the building around it, and saw the need here, along with the leadership team, to add a component of project management here, not only on the construction side for new construction, but just carrying the project through to completion.
So essentially, you try to make our future retailers more efficient, or how does that work out for our future retailers?
So here at PFSbrands, again, it goes back to need. Our business developers will sell the account. I primarily work in the Champs arena. Our business advisors will open and train and then maintain the account. And we saw a gap in between the time that the account is sold and the time the account is opened. So what I'm doing here is helping to manage equipment shipments, working with the general contractors on heavy remodels or new constructions to make sure that they understand all the requirements on an equipment side, where things need to go, and then I come in the week before and make sure that all of our technology is working properly and everything's ready to go. So the week of training is pure training and not troubleshooting.
So essentially you take off all the stress for our Champs Chicken franchisees for all of that very stressful time right beforehand and take off everything for Champs from them. So they just have to worry about all the other aspects of their business.
Right. The retailers can then focus on what they need to focus on. A lot of the retailers are not construction type people. Mm-hmm. And so they don't have to interface as much with the general contractor. They interface with me. I try and put it in layman's terms and work around that aspect. So.
Well, I know I've got a retail and a construction background as well, and that was always a big challenge, is having someone who they run their business, they run it well, they know how to do that, but this is a whole new foreign territory to them as far as understanding, from the timing of things and what that general contractor has to have and when it has to be there. And other than having things just palletized sitting there, not functioning, to make sure the timing's right, so everything's coming in, the number of inspections that are required to go through. I mean, all those things that, just like you said, your regular franchisee, they're not thinking about that a lot of times because they're used to running their business, and this is a whole new aspect. So, as Beth said, it should take a lot of the pressure off of them and help them understand what the needs are.
Right. A couple good examples for some of our larger scale projects. You alluded to palletizing. So we'll have multiple shipments coming in, and again, on a large scale project, they may be doing a segment of it or a phase of it, and so we can direct that equipment that is necessary for that piece to show up at the right time with the general contractor, so the right people are on site to hook it up. The retailer doesn't have to worry about it. Our business developer, our business advisors don't need to worry about it. I take care of it with our equipment department, the manufacturers, and the general contractor. So that's a great example of staging equipment, if nothing else.
Well, right, and then of course coming in time, like I mentioned, all the inspections.
Right.
I mean, that's a whole nother issue that you can run into there.
Yeah, so you can work with them, and thank you for reminding me of that. You can work with them on the front end to let them know what needs to happen. So let me take a step back and talk about the process. When a Champs account is won, I get involved as soon as possible and get out to the job site. And I'll walk through the job site with the retailer, with the general contractor, whoever is there, and work with them on the equipment specifications, and then touching on what you said with the inspections. Some of them may not know. So I'll talk to them about inspections. You do realize that you're going to have a fire inspection when we hook up the hood, when we hook up the Ansel system. You're going to have X, Y, and Z in place. I go back to the office and I put that into a project schedule. And every week that project schedule goes out to the entire project team, be it the general contractor, the retailer, if they have a food service person, whoever is involved, as well as our internal team. along with a weekly summary of what we've done and what we have looking forward. So next week we have to do this. So it's a good reminder of the inspections. You're going to open in 4 weeks, for example. We need to make sure that you have your inspection scheduled. And then when the results come in, they pass it on to me, and then I can put our BA and our training team in motion to be there on time versus showing up and nothing being done.
Well, exactly. So, I mean, it really cuts out a lot of the delay. And probably takes, there's always still going to be that surprise element. It's construction, things are just going to happen and pop up. But, having that process in place, to me, as someone who's run business before, that is always key. So not only do I know what has been done, but like you said, to know what's coming up, to be prepared for, because there's nothing worse than having things come in and not having a plan for it, or having someone show up and not realizing that we had to be on this stage and this phase completed. Otherwise, you got to reschedule it. Then it sets your opening back, and there's just, you create a whole snowball effect of things if those scheduling pieces aren't kept up to date and moving forward.
Right. It's really one central point of contact, and then you touched on the element that's key to project management is communication. So everything is kind of funneling through me and my team at this point in time. And I try and just be the most effective communicator with everyone involved. So we don't have parallel paths of communication going between the retailer and the business advisor, between the general contractor and the business developer. It all gets funneled through me, and then I'm the keeper of record, if nothing else.
And that's got to be incredibly comforting and invaluable to the retailers to actually have you physically at their location when they're first starting out.
Yeah, I would think so. There are some that do multiple stores with us, and it's not as big a deal because they've done several. And so they're pretty comfortable with what needs to happen. And then there are others that it's their first time and they have the deer in the headlight look. And so what I try and do is come in and do everything I can to set our training team up for the next week to make sure that they're successful, but at the same time comfort and get that retailer ready for what's going to happen the following week.
It's such a substantial investment that the franchisees make in these future, endeavors with us or with any franchise, for that matter of fact, and so to have, your position brought on, and I'm really thankful to have, senior leadership that had the vision to realize that gap wasn't being addressed, as efficiently as possible, and to bring you on board so you can work with the team to continue to move things forward. I would think that, that has to pay dividends for the retailers in the long run. Just because of the fact that the store got open on time or with fewer delays than what could have happened. I know that in the construction world, you could have something set to open in April, and it might be June, if things aren't running well.
Right.
And sometimes you run into things that are unforeseen. You get that, but to be able to have a schedule to open in April and get those doors open in April, that's a huge opportunity, for that investment to start recapping that return.
Absolutely. And that's our goal. That's what we really get measured on is, are the stores opening on time? And then in the background, I kind of get measured on referrals too. My mantra is you meaning the business developers, sell the first one and we sell the rest. So
That's awesome.
That's a great motto for sure.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add, Jim?
think so.
No? You guys have any other questions?
No, I'm just really, like I said, I'm excited to see this position continue to influence, as you said, repeat business and helping folks be unafraid to move to that multi-chain opportunity, to realize that multiple units, where they become maybe a little hairier to manage more people, more places. The path to get there, though, can be a lot smoother with having you and a team in there. So
Thank you.
Yep, and definitely for sure, the quicker we get those locations open, it's better for us and the retailer as long as we're doing it efficiently and effectively. If you guys have any questions on project management or any other questions related to business or finance or food service marketing, you can contact us at mdf@pfsbrands.com. And we want to thank Jim for being on today. It was great to have him here. And for Josh, Beth, and Tony and QSR Nation, we'll talk to you next week.
Stop by next week for another QSR Nation episode or visit pfsbrands.com.